Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of the Golden Law here in Victoria 3, where last time we won those two wars that Brazil starts out in, and we managed to get our borders nice and unified here, and now we can basically start playing the game for real. I have the benefit here of, between this recording and the previous recording, I played a ton of Victoria 3 on stream, watched videos and everything. So I have the benefit of knowing a bit more about how things function. Still pretty confused in general, I would say. And, our country's looking not great. We have a lot of radicals. That's not good. Mostly coming from being conquered and decreases in standard of living. So we want to, get that fixed. Now, the number one thing I think I've learned, is you need to get the subsistence farmers fixed, basically. You need to not have people subsistence farming. If you go to our population, you can see we have, the largest subset of our population is peasants, right below that is slaves. Both of those are pretty bad. We don't want either of those, I don't think, because they're locked into a low standard of living. I believe. So I don't think slaves can ever be above struggling. I don't think I'm pretty sure subsistence farmers can never be above struggling. So there are two big things we need to do. First is we need to outlaw slavery. That's thing number one. That would radicalize the landowners, but it's just not good. I don't know what to say. It's just not good. Pedro here is a member of the intelligentsia. He's a reformer. We have the intelligentsia in government. And that would Ooh, the landowners have a lot of clout. Where is their clout coming from? It's mostly coming from the slave trade. If we eliminate the slave trade, we curtail the power of the landowners. And we improve our country, because people won't be so impoverished. And we can employ, because right now if you look at our buildings, we have these farms that employ laborers, but they replace laborers with slaves in our country right now. Those positions, peasants could easily transition into laborers, I believe. It doesn't say here for sure. It definitely says peasants have a particularly easy time becoming farmers, but I believe peasants can become laborers as well. So if we abolish slavery, that'll be big for getting people off subsistence farms and into our farms that we're building, our more industrial farms. So we need to ban slavery. We just have to. There's no other way around it, in my opinion. It's going to radicalize the landowners. I don't care. We need to ban slavery. So, if we could get some interest groups in government that support this, if we put the trade unions in government, I don't think that's possible because they're a marginalized interest group. Okay, well, we don't want the Conservative Party because they have landowners. Is there anything here we can do to increase the legitimacy of our government? The only thing would be putting the Conservative Party in government. Okay. I think we're just going to leave it how it is for now. It's going to be kind of a hassle getting slavery banned. But it's necessary for the future good of our country. And that's what the series is named after. The Golden Law was the edict in Brazil that banned slavery. So, I think it's fine. Okay, so that's thing number one. We can also go ahead and start building some of those farms. But also, our construction sector is god-awful. We only have 9 construction capacity. So we're going to want to fix that as well. We've got a big pool of money saved up. We have a lot of investment pool. And we have a lot of gold reserves. So we need to start using that. Running a deficit for a while is going to be a good idea. But we also want to look at the market here. And the big thing is market price is what we want to look at. So what we want to see, are there any staple goods that are particularly expensive in our market? Answer is yes. Almost all of the staple goods are more expensive in our market than they should be. And we're running a deficit on grain. Because of pop consumption. So grain is just, we need grain. Our pops are fundamentally starving right now. And not having any of these staple goods is just not good in general. Clippers, tools, and iron. Those are things we'll worry about later. I think those are more developed goods. The luxury goods. See, the problem is everything right now is expensive in our market, which means there's a low supply. The only thing that is cheap in our market is artillery, which we're importing artillery, so that's why. What I would like to do is I want to go in and cancel all the trade routes we currently have. Because I want to get a better idea of what our economy looks like, and I want to make my own trade routes that better fit what we're trying to do here. So we do have some people. Bolivia is importing some paper from us, and some people importing coffee. That I'm fine with. Okay, so we're gonna let that tick over, and we're gonna see what our trade situation is looking like, devoid of any trade routes that the game starts you off with. So I have some input good shortage of artillery and small arms, low market access, so on and so forth. So that's all not great. What are we working on in terms of tech? We're working on dialectics. It's good because we want to get our education system better. These are institutions. We've got law enforcement. We've got our home affairs. All right. So we don't want to miss with law enforcement because that's going to strengthen the landowners when we're trying to ban slavery. So that's no good. I'm gonna. Ooh, we could go up to. We're on wood frame buildings right now. Wooden buildings. Okay, that's interesting. We'd have to look at the state where we have our construction sector built to figure out if I want to change that. We do have a lot of radicals. We need to try to fix this. So it looks like a lot of these are actually from events related to the war I just fought. Do we have any edicts? I imagine they're mostly here. Do we have any edicts that would... Let's see... I don't think we need to convert these guys. No. Alright, so I don't know if we can do much about that radicalism outside of just wait for it to tick down. We don't have any states in turmoil from it, so that's something at least, I guess. Okay, so I think with all that, we're good to just unpause and see what happens. Oh no, one more thing. So I want to have good relations with some of these colonial powers in the area. I won't be fighting Great Britain to take their bit of South America anytime soon. Nor will I be fighting France. Netherlands, that's possible. So these are going to be good trade partners for me. So I want to make sure that I am trading with them. I want to maximize the odds of us being able to, you know, have conducive trade with these guys. Obviously, war with Bolivia, very much on the table. In fact, we are already very poor in terms of our relations. So I'm actually going to go ahead and declare an embargo on them. I believe I saw they were doing some sort of... Yes, they're taking a bit of paper from me. So I'm going to embargo Bolivia. That'll cost a bit of our stuff to maintain. Now, I think improving relations with the Europeans and the Americans in general is going to be good. Although we can't improve with the Americans. Who is that? Okay. Because they're already cooperative. Okay. Because we have the potential to make a lot of cash crops in our country. Now, I don't want to have our country relying upon this. Because that's bad to have your country completely reliant upon the exportation of cash crops. But if you look at the potentials for coffee in particular, so Great Britain might not be a good one because they have the East India Company producing coffee, but we've got potential for coffee. So we can export that. I'm sure we have other luxury goods that we have good potentials for. Potentially sugar. Yeah, we've got some decent potential for sugar, which the Europeans don't have except for England. Fruit, we probably have some good potentials for that. Yep. So this is where we can really thrive early on. I think we even have potentials for gold. Ooh, okay, there's a lot of gold. We need to take Bolivia out. But this is where we can make a lot of our money, is these luxury agricultural goods. We can build tobacco, we can build coffee, we can build sugar, we can build fruit, grow. So that, I think, is our early, because we're right now in a mercantilistic economy, which is good for us right now. We're going to emphasize exports. I sometimes prefer protectionism, but I don't think we're so much a threat of that, because we are looking at exporting luxury goods. That's what people are going to be taking from us. So we're fine. So I'm going to let this take over a bit and let those trade route changes go through and have the effects happen. Let's get through a week. Okay. So hopefully we now can get a better idea of what our market's looking like. So, like liquor. But this is a luxury good. We want to look at the staple goods and see. Okay, so now we're a bit better positioned. Furniture is still very expensive. This caps out at 75% increase. So these are maximally overpriced. So wood. We need to export wood. We have an abundance of wood that we don't need. Now keep in mind, we do use wood for buildings primarily right now. If we were able to upgrade our construction to steel frame, we would consume less wood, but we would consume more iron, which of course we don't have iron either right now. Actually, we're at an exact... Okay, so that's not bad actually. Yeah, I'm gonna look to make some, because this is one of the most extreme ones, in terms of the price difference here. Grain is something we're gonna need more of. We're probably gonna set up some import routes while we build up some grain production. I think would be a good idea. We have some military good deficits, so we're probably gonna want to set up a couple of import routes for these. Very light import routes. Production of those goods is not something we're going to be looking at anytime soon. Yeah, and then also the clippers. So let's go ahead and the big thing, set up an export route for wood. And they should be right on top of, yeah, considerable potential for export. It says sugar as well. Could we? Yeah, we could export. Yes, we need to export sugar, definitely. That is at minus 75% cost in our market. The consumption is nowhere near the production. So we want to set up a couple of trade routes. For wood, we're big over. We have a 530 surplus of wood. So we can set up a big trade route for wood. And who would be the biggest taker? The French would be the biggest taker. Like I said, big trade partner there. Now that is exporting 1,040. Which is more than our current surplus. I don't think I want to make a trade route that big. We could probably tone this down a little bit. The Dutch are the most productive trade partner, I think, in that case. I wish I could just tone this down a little bit. 'Cause that's a lot of... That's more wood than I have. Even. I would love to export... Well, it's not more wood than I have, but it's certainly more than I am... that I can afford to export. So I guess we'll export to the Dutch. If the production goes up some, we can consider exporting to the French or the British. But that should be good. And then sugar is the other big one we want to get an export route set up for. So once again, we're in a situation where that is more sugar than we actually have. We only have... Actually, we have 120 sugar. So 90 sugar is the difference between our consumption and our production. So So we could afford to export this to the French, which I will. And I'm also going to go in to wood and sugar and set both of these to encourage exports. Because we have a surplus. We don't need to be exporting, we don't need to be importing any wood for any reason. So we're going to do that. Now, for grain, we have some production. We're not losing any in trade, but I am going to go ahead and say protect our grain supply. We want to keep our grain in the market. And we're going to want to import some of that. Same with furniture. Although furniture is not as important. Services, I mean, you can't import services anyway. I don't even know why it's an option. And fish will leave. Grain is more important than fish. Tools will also say protect that domestic supply. We need to get a bit more of those coming in. So all these things that are super expensive in our market, we're going to say protect our domestic supply of them. Yeah, so we're producing no alcohol right now. Okay. As for coffee, we have a couple of trade routes. The Americans and the British are importing some coffee. We've got a slight deficit. I'm still going to encourage exports because coffee is one of those cash crops we want to be selling on. Fruit and whatnot, I'll hold off on that. We'll see what happens with those. I mean, we need to set up an import route, small import route for arms and artillery. We need to have those. But grain is the big one, so let's see if we can get some grain imports going. First and foremost, we have a 423 deficit on grain. We can import 770 from the British. No question, we're going to do that. We're going to get some grain coming in. Liquor also has considerable import demand. That's a luxury good. I'm going to hold off on that. We're going to emphasize furniture and clothing, where the deficits are a bit less intense. We'll import that from the French. And then clothing we'll import from the Americans, I suppose. No better option. Alright. So that's my trade routes, much better setup, I think. Hopefully that fixes some of these surpluses and whatnot we're having. Some of these deficits. So, my next thing would be our construction sector. And where do you build? Where's the thing to build construction sectors? I could have sworn there was a way you could see all the construction sectors in your country. Yes, here. Alright. So... Oh. My bad. So... We've got a level 2 construction sector in our capital state, and is that it? That does appear to be it. Well, let's have a look at our capital state. What is in it? Is it a situation where we want to be building a lot more in our capital state? 89 unused arable land that's currently being dedicated to subsistence farming. No, there are other places that are far more important to build, I would say. So interestingly, we don't have a lot of unused arable land around the coastal areas. I imagine the interior... Well, why do we have so many subsistence farms? It looks like this state, Sao Paulo, is the most in need of some development. It seems to have the highest amount of unused arable land. Yeah. Is there a way I can confirm that? I've not even unpaused this episode yet. In case you couldn't tell, this game is very complex. peasants. Who do we have? Which state has the most peasants? Can I see that? I don't know if I can. That's annoying. But yeah, I think Sao Paulo and maybe this down here are the most in need of development. Yeah, because look at all the things we could build here. Maize farms, livestock ranches, the population is overwhelmingly peasants. Peasants, laborers, and slaves. Sadly. But I imagine peasants are, yeah, the majority in a lot of our places. Which means we need more people to get to work. Ultimately. In all of our states. The state has 149,000 peasants. That state has 219,000. I think the state with the highest number of peasants. Wait, Sao Paulo and Minas Gerais. These are the two states I think we need to prioritize. Which means I'm going to build the construction sectors in each of these states. Let's bump those up to level 2 so we can get buildings going faster in these states. So let's see what happens with all that. Okay, economy seems to be holding steady. Clippers are still expensive. Small arms. Hopefully this updates with these import routes. Okay. Also import goods shortage. Small arms and artillery. So do we need more small arms and artillery then? I'm guessing we do. Oh, did I not set up trade routes for these? Oh, I didn't. My bad. Okay, let's import some of these. Small arms, we can import from the Americans pretty productively. Less convoys, that'll be one less. We don't need that many. Let's go ahead and import that from the Americans. And then artillery. From the Americans again. Why not? So hopefully that fixes those things. It does appear to have. And then clippers. We could actually maybe use another small arms import route. I'll import one from the British as well. And then clippers. We're going to import ships. Are we going to import ships on ships? That would be interesting. Let's go for the French. Alright, so we successfully fixed all of that. So we can support another declared interest. Yeah, let's declare an interest in all of South America. And maybe, you know what? Maybe Central America. Why not? So of course we're stockpiling gold. I'm not going to go ham on the building. I can't go ham on the building. Our construction capacity doesn't support it. If I wanted to do anything, I could ease up the taxes on my people. In fact, let's get rid of the consumption tax on liquor. It's very expensive in our market. That would lower the cost. We're running a pretty strong surplus right now, so I see no reason to do that. We can't support, at this point, iron frame buildings. We just don't have enough iron in our market. Yeah, we have exactly enough iron to keep our tooling workshops going. There's also some low market access in this state, so I'm going to go ahead and do road maintenance to get some more infrastructure there, and hopefully that helps with that. Artillery is back to being expensive, so let me set up another artillery import route. None of these are productive. Deficit's not that big for artillery. Of course, the deficit is there for clippers, so maybe we can grab one more from the British. And I'm just going to import some artillery, even though it says it's not going to be productive. Just so we can get these deficits fixed up. And it's still saying clippers are expensive. I don't know why it says that trade route's unproductive. I don't care if I'm losing money right now. I'm down to lose some money for a bit. Okay, fine. Let's import some from the Dutch too for these clippers. Just want that balance to be evened up. Okay, why isn't it? Oh, that's Mana Wars. Right. Okay. Right, we have a big excess of clippers. Hold on. Need to cancel some of those trade routes. Okay. I think just the French one's good. Yeah. Okay, my bad. That was Mana Wars that I need. Okay. That does make sense. Let's import from the Dutch, because it says that's the... I have read the productivity tooltips are a bit deceitful at this point in time, that they don't quite tell you the truth about how things are actually going to go for you. So once we get these building sectors, I think I'm going to start straight away with building some farms in these areas. Some farms to produce us more grain, and to get some of those guys out of subsistence farming and into some more, industrial type farming. I think that's what we're going to emphasize here. And we can pump this up to speed 5 while I'm just waiting for this to finish. Great Britain is cautious. Okay. Alright, so we got that. And once again, we're going to have still large numbers of peasants in these states, large numbers of subsistence farms. Although, no, these still seem like the worst states in terms of the number of peasants. Although Rio de Janeiro is also bad in terms of the number of peasants. Alright, well, this state literally has, like, nothing in it. So, well, it has a bit of agriculture, but we need some maize farms here. So let me go over to the production lens. It does say Sao Paulo would be unproductive, but I don't buy it. And anyway, we need more grain in our market. So we're going to funnel a lot of investment into these two states in terms of agriculture, because hopefully those peasants will stop subsistence farming and start going over to... Wait, why did it say aristocrats? Why would a subsistence farm hire an aristocrat? Okay. Well, we're just going to get some of those built, and hopefully that'll start moving over some of these peasants, and that'll start making up for a bit of a surplus in... Oh, we also have some bureaucracy, some tax waste going on. Probably all the trade routes I built that are doing that. We need to upgrade some government buildings to make up for that. Yes, my economy's unhealthy right now. I know, it's fine. Napoleonic warfare. So we have mobile artillery. Probably can't support moving over to that. Yeah, it would cause us to consume more artillery, which we already need to import. So, we shouldn't be fighting anyone who's got extreme mill tech advantages on us anytime soon, I don't think. Like, I don't think Bolivia is going to be out here running, like, skirmish infantry or anything. The Emperor has taken a personal interest in the ongoing debate slavery ban. The 13-year-old Emperor. I'm going to go ahead and try to ram that through. The intelligentsia are pretty loyal. The landowners we're going to make angry in any case. I don't care. We're going to decrease the landowners' political power by passing slavery ban. Extreme radicalism. 500,000 radicals. But banning slavery is going to be important. It's just, we need to do that. I don't think we're going to be unlocking any of these advanced production methods right now. So I'm just going to ignore all those. Because I don't think those are going to be particularly possible for us. The Liberal Party is formed. Oh, look at that. Oh wow, I could put the Liberal Party in government. That's the rural folk, the Catholic Church, and the industrialists. I'm gonna do that. And that's the Liberal Party with 4 interest groups in our government with 94% legitimacy. That helped the radicals a lot. I get this thing where it says we need additional convoys. But, like, we have convoys. 110 convoys available. I don't know, I'm just gonna keep it going. Alright, so in these states where I've just built, these farms, I'm gonna go ahead and encourage agricultural industry. Use a bit of our authority on that. And hopefully you'll see some of these subsistence farmers moving over to these upgraded maize farms. So why are you losing money? What are your expenses? Ah, so they don't have enough employment. But I'm hoping the people will stop subsistence farming and start going over to the maize farm. Is the hope. Because we've still got 85,000 people on subsistence farms in this state. I would hope that you'd be moving over to the actual farm. But they don't appear to be. But in any case, I think that's a good place to go ahead and end this episode. So, did a lot of stuff there. I think I'm learning the game a bit better. Hopefully this all works out. Like I said, I think we need to focus on being an agrarian economy for the time being. In fact, that's probably even what our economic system is. But we need to actually get people off subsistence farms and employed. That's the #1 thing. And hopefully what I just did helps. It doesn't appear to be helping for some reason. Not really sure why they're not going off the subsistence farms. I think banning slavery will do a lot to get them off the subsistence farms. But we'll see what happens in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.